recorded live in Jacksonville, Florida. This is Trivial Warfare. More than just a pub quiz, Trivial Warfare is your gateway to a worldwide trivia community. Join your hosts, Jonathan.
We just described Ric Flair as Neanderthal Man and Planet of the Apes.
Chris.
Yo, we going down to Sesame Street.
That's your impression of hardcore rap?
Carmela.
That would irritate the hell out. I'm like, I just want my groceries. My ice cream is melting.
Ben.
4 halogens in that list. Oh my God.
You were like, it's not the halogens. I'm like, no, Ben, no.
Those damn halogens got me again.
And the rest of the Trivial Warfare Army for another week of fun and games. Now here's your host, Jonathan Oakes.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Trivial Warfare. We are the podcast that takes the pub quiz out of the pub and brings it home to you. My name is Jonathan, and I am in studio for the first time. Nay, not the first time. The second time with you, Bob. This actually, now that I think about it, so my brother Bob is here in studio with me. Say hello, Bob.
Hello, Bob.
And you know what? Let me introduce everybody else, and then I'm going to come back to you. Okay?
Yeah, we can do that.
I don't want to be rude to everybody. So we have a fantastic show for you today. We have some awesome guests. Cheyenne Fletcher, General Cheyenne Fletcher is with us today. Hello, Cheyenne.
Hey, Jonathan. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. You look good, by the way. I don't know who Combsy is, but you look good.
Yeah, Combsy's actually a buddy of mine here in town who y'all should check out.
Shout out
Chris
to Combsy.
Yeah, his name's actual Chris Combs, and he made this amazing jazz suite based on the Tulsa Race Massacre 10 years ago. That's just incredible.
Wow. Outstanding. Neil D'Aguirre is with us today. Hello, Neil.
Hey, Jonathan.
How are you today?
I'm really well, thank you.
I am super glad that you are here. And last but not least, Nicolle Neulist is with us today. Hey, Nicolle.
Hello. How are you?
I am great. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to get to know everybody better. We're going to start with Bob, and now I'm going to do that little diatribe. So you were the first person back in studio. I have folks who have been doing this with me for 6 years. None of them have been back in the studio. This is your second time.
Yes.
Because we did a Weird Al bonus together.
A great Weird Al bonus together.
Should be coming out soon.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Joel has finished his part. I just haven't found time to do my part.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to happen soon. So Bob, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
So I'm from here in Jacksonville, Florida. I am a supervisor for a pretty large beverage company, and Jonathan, you know I'm the most boring person on the planet, right?
That can't be true.
So, well, it is true, and you know me well enough to know that. But I will say that one time I was working in a grocery store, and I met the comedian Gallagher, who was famous at the time for smashing watermelons.
Was he buying watermelons?
He was in my store buying watermelons. So I saw him walk past me. I knew he was in town that night because I knew the listing. So I knew he was in town. He walked past me in my store with 3 watermelons in the cart. And as soon as I realized, hey, that's Gallagher, I went and told my manager. My manager walked over, realized it, and then proceeded to make the biggest ass of himself, just harassing him. And Gallagher had wanted none of it. He wanted no special treatment. He wanted no conversation. He just wanted to get in, get his watermelons, and get out.
Can you imagine? Because he's done that so many times, it's got to be like, oh, God, I hope nobody sees me buying. He needs a minion.
You would think he would. You would think that he'd have one, but of course this was the 90s, and I don't know. But when everything was said and done, I ended up being the cashier, and I checked out Gallagher at my register.
Oh wow, very cool. I didn't know that story. That's all. If it was cell phone time, you'd be taking a selfie with him and the watermelons for sure.
Exactly.
All right, very cool. So if I didn't say it already, Bob is my older brother. So we
and better looking.
Well, sure, that's not hard. We should have a lot of fun with that today. Cheyenne, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Cheyenne Fletcher from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Just getting our trivia company, Questionable Company, back up and running. You know what? I really should have. I forgot that I had to come up with something fun about myself.
Tell them about your neck tattoo.
My son just passed his driver's test this past week.
Outstanding.
And it has been petrifying teaching him to drive and realizing that there are a whole bunch of hymns out on the streets driving cars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you are so bad at this. And there's more of you.
They're multiplying.
It's just like, oh, goodness.
So Cheyenne, I want you to, we've had this conversation in person. I want you to tell people about your neck tattoo. I think this is one of the most interesting things. And it's like this really, like was saying, when you meet somebody and they have a big tattoo right on their neck, it's like, oh crap, is this person like a criminal? Is this person going to hurt me? What is going on? But you're one of the nicest people on the planet. So talk about it.
Yeah, no, I got it hand tapped in Borneo, probably, I don't know, it's been close to 20 years ago now by local tribes, Ebon tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and what made you do it?
I was there and it's something that they do locally. And so I was like, might as well.
This is what I love about Cheyenne. His answer to why he got a giant neck tattoo is, I was there. It seemed like the thing to do. I love you, man. Oh, it's fantastic. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm so excited.
All right. And Neil, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
So I'm Neil Diaghi. I'm from London in the UK. So I've been listening to Trivial Warfare for 2-3 years now. And I'm a teacher and a chaplain in the UK. And something fun about me, I was once a co-holder of a Guinness World Record for solving the Rubik's Cube.
Really?
Wow.
But it doesn't sound that impressive when I explain it.
Okay.
So it's a legitimate world record, but it was something to do with the school. We found there was a local charity for homelessness that managed to get sponsored by a big sponsor to see if they could break the world record for the most number of people solving the Rubik's Cube at the same time within the globe. And we managed to we took from our school something like 80 students up to London in a big exhibition hall, and there was something like 3,000 people solving it at the same time. And we held it for 6 months until a Korean school beat us. But
how many people actually solved it in that group?
It was you had an hour, so you had a lot of time, and there was definitely one or two teachers with the group who were being told by a student, right, now turn this here and then turn that there. But it was something like 2,900 people solved it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's incredible. Yeah. And Neil, what do you teach?
I'm a religious studies teacher as well.
Very cool. And is this a secondary school or is this a university?
It's secondary school in the UK, yeah.
Very cool. Well, so excited to have you on. This is going to be great fun. And last but not least, Nicolle Neulist. Nicolle, tell everybody where you're from, what you do, and something fun about yourself.
Hi, my name is Nicolle Neulist. I live in Chicago, Illinois. I write about horse racing. I do a lot of freelance writing about it, and I also work as one of the chart callers for Arlington and Hawthorne. So basically, I watch the races in detail through binoculars and take very, very accurate trip notes. And so when you go to the track and you're looking at the program and you see the numbers telling you how far apart the horses were at the various points in the race and those short little comments saying, kind of summarizing the trip, I write that, which is really niche, but really fun and really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And something fun about myself, one time I spent 4 days handcuffed to somebody that I didn't know, and I actually have something published in a real physical book about that experience.
Tell us more.
I do the University of Chicago scavenger hunt every year. Mm-hmm. It's something that I started doing when I was an undergrad, and fortunately there's a graduate and alumni team, which means I can go back, hang out with both people that I knew in college and people who I've met through the scavenger hunt, and we can get together as fellow old people and do it. So it doesn't feel like you're reliving your undergrad days. It's more you're just making new memories and silly stories. But in 2004, there was an item that said, how strong is your friendship? Come to the middle of the quad at 10 a.m. Thursday and find out. And of course, the only two people on my team who were willing to do it were me and someone else I didn't know. So we're at the middle of the quad and we're just rapid fire exchanging facts about each other because we were afraid it was going to be a trivia. It was almost a relief when the head judge walked up, pulls a pair of handcuffs out of a bag, and it's like, all right, we're going to handcuff each pair from each team together. And so, yeah, we spent the next 4 days, the duration of the scavenger hunt, handcuffed together. We were both doing different iterms. She got a tattoo while we were handcuffed together. We had the cops called on us once. It was bizarre.
How did y'all deal with the showerings and bathrooms?
One of us would get in the shower or use the toilet. The other would just turn our back.
Oh my God. Excuse me, could you hand me the toilet paper, please? You're closer than I am.
You know, you're closer to the bottle of shampoo.
Oh my God. That is intense. So I want y'all to know right now, I'm going to call it. You guys have set the bar on intro, getting to know people, interesting fact stories. Y'all have set a new high mark where this is the episode that all tell me something interesting about yourself will be measured against from here on out. This was incredible. Very cool. All right. And before we get to warm it up, Chris, Bob, I told you I would tell you a story. So Rambo has been sick, y'all. So Rambo has been sick. I have been struggling with a food change for him for about 2 months, and he's been dealing with soft stool, really soft stool. And once every week and a half to 2 weeks, I don't know if he gets pissed, or I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or if it's a complete accident. But we have what I describe as a poop tornado happen in my little laundry room where his litter box is. And I say it not affectionately at all because it literally gets as if it hit a fan.
Oh.
Like halfway up the door are things I'm having to clean on the washing machine, on the dryer, all this, right? So I took him to the vet yesterday because I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that shit.
You couldn't have told me that before I came over.
So, yeah, right. So I took him to the vet yesterday, and we took blood and did all this stuff with him, and so we're gonna get him fixed up and get him on the right track. But on the way home, he urinated in his crate, and you're stuck there. The cat's in the crate. The stuff's not going anywhere, and it's just soaking into his fur. And y'all, Rambo's a furry cat. So I had to, he felt bad. Like he wasn't meowing. He wasn't complaining. He just felt like crap. And so I immediately took him into the bathroom and proceeded to give him a bath. And that took a damn half hour to 45 minutes with him hating it every step of the way as I'm trying to wash him off. And last night I decided it wasn't good enough, and I'd been meaning to trim him for a while because fur keeps coming off of his body when I pet him. So I trimmed him down to the bottom. So now Rambo looks like he looks normal. His head looks normal, and the rest of his body looks like a skinny Siamese cat. He is not a happy cat right now, y'all. So I thought I'd share that with you because Bob's here in studio and he was asking about something that led me to talk about it. But poor Rambo, y'all. Poor me. It took an hour and a half to shave him, to cut his hair.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't have shaved him before you gave him the bath?
No. He was covered in urine.
Okay.
And I was working.
I have given cats showers twice in my life and survived without cuts.
Yes, it's not good. I do have scratches on my arm here from that experience. They're minor because Rambo's a really good cat, but it was a challenge.
Mm.
All right, now that I've regaled you with what will probably end up as an outtake anyway, let's get on to Warm It Up, Chris.
It's time to warm it up on Trivial Warfare today. And there's only one person who can warm it up for the TWA, and that's Chris. And sometimes Jonathan.
All right.
And Warm It Up Chris today is going to be rolled by Cheyenne.
Yeah, and so I just realized I have WIUC at the top, so it could also be Warm It Up Shy.
Warm It Up Shy. I like it.
All right. So this idea was thought of by John Liu.
All right, cool. Love John.
Yeah.
One of my teammates at Geek Bowl last year.
All right. So I'm going to give you all an item, and y'all have to decide if it's an opera, a cheese, a font, or a fashion house.
Holy crap.
Oh,
Opera, cheese, font, fashion house. This is we haven't even played it, and this is already one of my favorite warmed up Chris's ever. This is a really great idea.
Yeah. And I'm going to go Neil, Nicolle, John, Bob, because that makes the most sense.
I don't know who John is. That's an unacceptable name.
Jonathan.
Yes, sir. There we go.
All right.
I was going to say, I've killed that for everybody.
Yeah.
I called him that maybe once when he was a kid.
No,
and
you
I
did it every day.
And I got, my name is Jonathan.
Oh, we used to fight about it because he says literally, he would egg me on and torture me with it every day.
That's what big brothers are for, right?
Yeah, that reminds me. I had a friend growing up whose name was John Mark, and he would constantly change whether he wanted to be John Mark, John, or Mark, and he would get mad at us all the time when we messed it up. It's like, changing it every year.
There's a great Family Guy moment where Peter is like doing. I think he's doing like a like a Christmas Ghost of Future, Present, Past, and Future. And he's looking at a future or something, or maybe a different version of himself, where he's hanging out with a guy named Jonathan, and he calls him John. He's like, "My name's Jonathan," and Peter's like, "Oh, it's one of those guys. Oh, jeez."
All right, so here we go. First one, Neil. Chimay.
Can you spell it for me?
Chimay.
Is this one of the words at the beginning of Laverne and Shirley?
I'm going to go with fashion house. It looks like a shortening of someone's name.
That is a Belgian cheese.
Okay.
The cheese could be named after somebody.
I'm glad I didn't get Chimay because I know that is a beer, but I didn't know it as anything else.
Same Abbey that makes the beer makes the cheese.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
They could make beer cheese.
How did I not know this? And two, how does the Belgian beer bar in Chicago, the Hop Leaf, not have Chimay cheese to go with the beer?
Right.
Nicolle, Manon, Manon.
Manon or Manon.
Manon.
I know that as a do. I know that as the first name of a goalie who played briefly for the Lightning in the preseason in the 90s, Manon Rhéaume. I'm going to guess, I don't know it as a font. I do eat a lot of cheese. I'll guess opera.
That is correct.
Oh, wow. Great job.
Massenet. Massenet is the
I know one Massenet opera, and now I know two.
All right, Jonathan.
Yo.
Genufa. Genufa.
I use that to exfoliate in the shower. Genufa. That's not going to be an opera. Fonts are usually words. In this, the JN, I'm going to go with font.
This is an opera.
Oh, no. I was never going to guess opera.
Janacek. Janacek.
That's who created
the
it?
Composer.
The composer?
Yes. Okay. Bob. Gautier.
You know, so far you said a lot of things and I haven't understood a single word of it, but Gautier. I'm actually leaning towards fashion house.
That is correct. That is a fashion house.
Woo!
Don't ask me how I knew that, but something rang a bell.
Jean-Paul Gaultier?
Yeah.
Yes, I have heard that name before.
Yeah, I used to have a friend who would always buy his sunglasses when we were in high school. I'm like, it's $250 sunglasses. What are you doing? Okay. Neil, Varvatos.
Sounds kind of Spanish. It's not a font I recognize. Cheese.
That one is a fashion house.
I think I'd heard that one before. That's the first one I recognized. Is Varvatos, is it a Greek fashion house by any chance? It sounds like a Greek name.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just know that I ran into a pair of like Converse that he designed like years ago.
Okay.
So
Very cool.
All right, Nicolle, Tosca, Tosca.
Oh, that's absolutely an opera.
Yes, that is a Puccini opera.
Puccini.
That is in my flashcard deck.
Nice. Oh my God! Everybody studies harder than I do.
And here's
because anybody who studies harder than I do.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Jonathan.
Yeah.
Halloumi.
Halloumi's a cheese.
That is a cheese.
Halloumi's
Good
delicious.
job.
I think I have some downstairs. I've been experimenting with buying new cheeses because MJ and I like to do charcuterie boards with different meats and cheeses. And so I've been trying all kinds of different ones. And I think I have a halloumi right now.
Yeah, it's really good. All right, Bob. Labna. Labneh.
No idea, but I'm going to go font.
That is like a Greek yogurt cheese.
Oh, no. We haven't had any fonts yet, have we?
No.
It's a red herring.
You know, yeah, you can't let people,
Yeah, no, it's well done.
Okay, Neil. Akris. Akris.
Akris. My head looks kind of Greek, maybe Turkish, which leads me to opera. But actually, I think my head's saying go fashion house.
Boom, boom, boom! Fashion
Excellent.
house.
Wow. Good job, Neil.
All right, Nicolle. Memphis.
City. Ancient city.
City where you might be walking or it might be raining. Thank you, Mark Cohn and Angie Aparo.
Walking in Memphis.
It's tickling my brain somewhere for a font, so I'm going to go for font.
Good job.
Well done.
Woohoo!
Probably one of those one of those papyrus style ones, maybe.
Yeah. Turandot.
Turandot is an opera.
That's right. Another Puccini opera.
Another Puccini.
Bob. Norma.
Spell it?
Norma.
Okay.
Norma.
The classic pronunciation.
I guess. As in Norma Jean.
Goodbye, Norma Jean.
Right?
I'm going to go fashion house.
That is a Bellini opera.
Norma!
All right. So maybe we'll try 4 more of these.
All right, let's do it. Loving it.
All right. Neil, let's go with Provel.
It sounds a little bit like provolone, so cheese?
Yes, that is a cheese.
Nice.
I lived in St. Louis for 3 years. I love cheese. I've rarely met a cheese I didn't like. Provel is disgusting.
Oh, no.
Provel on that cracker pizza is an abomination. And
it's overly processed cheese on cracker crust with like vaguely sweet tomato sauce. Like, get that St. Louis style pizza away from me.
Yeah, the same. All right, Nicolle. Red Hawk.
Red Hawk. Okay. I've never heard of a Red Hawk font. Never heard of a Red Hawk cheese. Wow, this really doesn't ring a bell as any of these things. I'll go opera.
It is a California cheese.
And today I learned.
All right, Jonathan. Dido. Didot.
So it was Dido. I would have thought it was an opera named after the mythological character. But Didot strikes me as a font.
And it strikes you correctly. That is a font.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done.
We've done better at this than I expected, y'all.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
All right. The last one here, Bob. Excelsior.
That's a font.
Yes. Good job.
Stanley would be proud.
Yes. All right. Is that the end of the road, Cheyenne?
Yeah, that's it.
That's going to wrap up Warm It Up Chris. And once again, man, we're setting a high bar for the game here because that was a great Warm It Up Chris. We are going to have a lot of fun today. This is episode number 328. This is on the main feed. In fact, this is the 3rd show in a row on the main feed because last week We surprised everybody by putting episode 327 on the main feed. That was our Pride episode. If you haven't listened to that, go back and check it out. It was a lot of fun. Carmela did a great job with that, and Liz Thaler did an awesome job hosting. Really excited about that. Next week's show is on our Patreon feed. So if you want more Trivial Warfare and you don't want to miss any show that we do, be sure to go to trivialwarfarearmy.com and sign up at the $5 a month level or higher. The higher you go, the more you get on the show. But at $5 a month, you get access to almost all of our content right there on the site. So it is fantastic. Give it a try. trivialwarfarearmy.com. Today's episode, it is going to be Neil and Nicolle versus Bob and Jonathan. I'm contractually obligated to say Bob's name first because he's my older brother. Cheyenne is hosting, and it's time to play the game.
Players. Oh, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. This is Mr. Literature himself, cordially inviting you to the game. This is 6 rounds of trivia goodness. 3 questions per round. Every right answer gets you 10 points. In the middle, we'll take a pause for the cause and ask a midpoint question worth up to 20 juicy points. After round 6, you can wager any or all those points you've been building up and take a shot at the final round. It's a series of theme-based questions we call the Gauntlet. It's just that easy, baby. But this game ain't gonna play itself, players. Let's get it on.
All right, so recent episode, I think it was Kelly who's in your D&D group.
She mentioned Kelly McClure.
Yeah. So she'd mentioned that like y'all's D&D group like has been a great source of, like a group of people to kind of lean on and get her through this. And mine has definitely been all the people I play trivia with.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole game is going to be full of shout outs to all my favorite trivia things.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
All right. So Questionable Company usually starts the first question with the current events. And I couldn't really do that because this is going to be in the future. So
the future.
Round 1, question 1 is June 27th. All right. Born on this day in 1880, what person appears on the reverse side of the Alabama State Quarter and also has their name appear in Braille?
All right, I think we can lock in.
All right.
So you guys can talk out loud.
I got meow meows on this.
Ooh,
I got
give her
a whole
the
world
hammer.
of meow meows on this.
Bob said he's gonna do it.
Am I saying it?
Dude, go pull back when you yell it. Pull
Okay.
back and do the hammer back here.
Ready? Oh, on my hand or the table?
No, on that. Don't hit my table.
Let's do this. Hey, nobody else has gotten to do this, so no, I can do it. Ready?
Okay.
Meow meow!
Oh, that was pathetic. That was awful. He's gonna get better, y'all. He's gonna get better. Oh my God.
I don't remember when it came up in a trivia, but when it did, I wrote it down and made a flashcard about it. It is Helen Keller. So yes, she is from Alabama and she's on the Alabama Quarter.
Very
Locked
cool.
in with Helen Keller.
And Bob and I turned to each other, and it hit me that Alabama, Helen Keller was from there. The Braille was a huge clue. So Braille, at first it's like, well, Braille is his name. So it's probably not Braille. Who else would have Braille? And then Helen Keller's name came to mind. So we locked in with Helen Keller as well.
And both teams are correct. Good job, guys.
Seeing the hammer in person made me so happy.
I got for my birthday this year Thor hammer cufflinks because I keep doing the meow meows out loud when I listen to the show.
Oh my God, you can slap your wrists together. Yeah. That's incredible.
So that quarter also says Spirit of Courage on it, which leads me to Liquid Courage and Jason Borsum.
Love Jace. Shout out to Jason Borsum and everybody who's part of the Liquid Courage brand.
Yes, and I've probably played more of his games than any other games this past year. Because there for a while, he was just at a ridiculous pace of like 9 games a week.
Right?
It was... All right. Faith and Courage is a 2000 album by what artist who gained lots of attention for a 1992 appearance on SNL? They have gone by the name Magda David and most recently Shuhada Sadakat, but always performed under the their stage name.
What was the year for the SNL?
1992.
All right, we're going to lock in.
1992 SNL is a little bit before my time. I only just started catching glimpses in the last year. So
Yeah, I've never been much of an SNL watcher, but I seem to have a vague memory. Again, this is a little before my time. I turned 10 in 1992, so I wasn't quite staying up for SNL yet. But I think there was some notorious thing about Sinead O'Connor on SNL, and I know that she's gone by a couple of different names, but Sinead O'Connor has been usually what she performed by, so that's really the best guess that I have.
yeah, so you're happy to lock in with that, yeah.
Yep, let's lock in with Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Bob, we kind of turned to each other, and I had written down Sinead O'Connor.
And 1992 sounded right for that. So
Yeah, she tore up a picture of the Pope in protest.
right,
And
never came back.
yeah, so we're going to say Sinead O'Connor.
And both teams are correct. Yeah, I just learned that she, I guess, switched to Islam a couple years ago. And so she changed her name.
By the way, just if you haven't heard it, like if you've never gone back and listened to it because you're younger, maybe, Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You is a fantastic song, and it's worth listening to. It was written by Prince. Go listen to it if you've never listened to it. It's fantastic.
It's really good. Question 3, round 1. TJ and McKinney Sizemore. They have a great game.
Gentleman Octopus.
Play every Monday, and I love it. It's tough, but it's really fun.
It is
All right.
probably the most challenging trivia competition I've ever taken part of. I've played with an awesome group of people who are all better at trivia than I am, and still have a really hard time taking first. Like, almost never do it, and that says something about the level of competition and the level of difficulty.
Yeah, but it's fun. They write great questions.
Yep.
So, directed by Pippa Ehrlich, what film won the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature at the 2021 ceremony?
Well, Bob, I don't know crap, so I hope you got something.
Probably less than you.
Oh, crap. He says he's seen it, but he doesn't remember it. He's seen it. That's so much more than I have.
No, I've seen the Oscars. I saw this awarded. I haven't seen the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was a good catch, Bob. All right, we're going to lock in.
Yeah, I agree with the last thing you typed, Nicolle, that I'm not getting anything up at all here.
Behold, my bag of nothing. It overfloweth with nothing. I am not a movie watcher. I know like 5 movies from last year. None of them are documentaries.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of run through my head. There's Sonic the Hedgehog. There's Birds of Prey. There's Nomadland, which you mentioned, which, like I said, I know that Chloe Zhao is the director, not Pippa Ehrlich.
Yeah.
Oh, what else came out last year?
I still remember Bill and Ted's, but it's not that either.
Bad Boys for Life, also probably not a documentary.
Yeah.
For life.
Wouldn't be the Netflix one that ended 2020? Semi-fictional mockumentary one?
I don't know which one that is. I think I'm the last person alive without a streaming plan of any sort.
Okay. No, I don't think it was serious enough to get an Oscar. Put it that way. It was incredible. It had Lisa Kudrow from Friends in it, as a certain type of political figure from the States. No, I'm coming up with nothing either. It wasn't the Michael Jordan one, was it? No, that's not
The
a film,
Last
though.
Dance?
Yeah, it's not a film. It's a series, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah, that was a TV series. That'd probably be a little more Emmy, but it's the closest thing I know to a documentary from last year.
I can't think of anything else. How about Tornado of Poop in honor of our previous answers?
Yes.
That's the subtitle. Honestly, the name of the feature film would be Storm. You got to know. Naming makes a difference. Storm 2, Tornado of Poo. See, this is writing itself, honestly. This could go on Sci-Fi right now.
This is why I'm always grateful when I have editors who can write the headlines of my articles for me.
Right? It helps.
Y'all locked in with that?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so Bob, I think we accidentally stumbled on the answer because I know one documentary and it might be right. So at the beginning of the question, he mentioned McKinney and TJ Sizemore, and I mentioned that their company's name was Gentleman Octopus Trivia. And you said you watched the ceremony, and we were talking about it, and I said there's only one documentary from last year I can even name, and it's because of, since we're doing trivia shout-outs, it's because of Dustin Resch, who's on a bunch of different trivia teams with me, and he's doing a children's book around an octopus character, and he recommended a series called My Octopus Teacher. And I watched the first episode of it. I haven't had time to watch the rest of it, but it was good. It was really interesting. And I was saying that to you.
And I said, well, the category is Gentleman Octopus, so maybe?
Technically, like, but it's the names of the people who run it.
Right.
I am the only person who said it out loud. But that seems like a tie-in.
Might as well try and go for it.
So that's what we did. We said My Octopus Teacher.
Yep, there's a reason I left the name of their company out and just said their names. It's My Octopus Teacher.
Oh,
dude, that was awesome.
Good job.
And shout out to Dustin, man. No way would I have gotten that right.
Shout out to Dustin and shout out to Octavio the Octopus, who is the actual cutest.
Oh, he is adorbs. At the end of the first round, it's 30-20. Bob and Jonathan have a lead.
Round 2, question 1. Lexi Beamer is a treasure.
Woohoo!
This is a
Hi,
friend of
Lexi.
mine that I play with out of Toledo. All right. Happy Home Designer, Amiibo Festival, and Pocket Camp are all spin-offs of what game series?
Pocket what?
Pocket Camp. C-A-M-P.
Pocket Camp. And Amiibo or Amiibo?
A-M-I-I-B-O.
Locked in.
Just 2 words. Yeah. It's not we're locked in. Okay, we're going to lock in. Locked in.
Locked in.
Bob is serious, y'all.
Serious times.
Yeah, I like what we've talked through there. We went around the block, but I actually think you're right. I think locking in with that sounds best.
Yeah, we kind of talked about different games, and my first real hook is like Amiibo has me inside of it, like spelled M-I-I, like the character from Wii. And I know you play Animal Crossing on a Nintendo, and maybe Cheyenne is leaving out New Horizons. So that's really the best guess that I have. I don't have any sort of thunder, and I wish I knew what video games Lexi played, and I really haven't talked to Lexi much about video games, so I do not know this, but Animal Crossing is the best guess that I have.
Well, let's lock in with that then.
Lock in with Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Well, that's odd.
Tremendously similar logic there. I also, so I'm aware of Amiibos being I think they are like a Nintendo character version of whatever character you want to build for yourself, like a Bitmoji almost, where you can design your own version of yourself or some other, just a character that represents you. And so we were locking in towards Nintendo, and then it was a matter of, okay, well, what kind of thing is big on Nintendo specifically? That might have these titles, and I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, it's not Super Smash Brothers, even though you can add like the Mii characters in Super Smash Brothers.
But wait a minute, I spend all my time playing Super Smash Brothers Happy Home Designer.
Exactly, yes. Well, see, first you design it and then you wreck it. It's amazing.
Isn't that when you get the kids along?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
The kids do the wrecking for you, yeah.
That's exactly right, yes. So we locked in with Animal Crossing.
Yep, man. Points all around. Yeah.
Wow. Look at that.
Lexi has sent me multiple Amiibos. She makes them somehow and sends them so my daughter can use them in Animal Crossing.
It does seem
yes.
like you would be a pretty easy person to do an Amiibo for. It's just the basic bald head, kind of a circular face with dark glasses, and boom, you're there. I mean...
Yep. All right. Good job, guys. All right. Round 2, question 2. Jason McKibben likes his Z's after waking up early. This is Lexi's husband. This round 2 is all in honor of my Toledo folks.
All right. Shout out to Toledo. I've been in you.
Yeah. All right. What 1973 book by Oliver Sacks was turned into an Oscar-nominated film starring Robin Williams and Robert De Niro?
What year was the book?
The book was 1973.
I just named a 70s movie, and I've never seen it, but it's famous. And Bob's like, I've never seen it. And I'm like, are you kidding? You're the one who watches things.
Yeah, but there are things that really popular movies that I intentionally just don't watch, like Dances with Wolves.
And why don't you watch them?
Just against the hype.
So you have that. This is something I share. I'm a rebellious in this way. I'm a contrarian in that I automatically don't like things if everybody else likes them.
Yeah, there are these very famous popular movies that what's the Kevin Costner baseball movie?
Field of Dreams.
I've never seen it.
I did see, that's a great movie, but I did not know we shared this trait. This is interesting because you watch some of the worst TV ever.
I'd rather watch bad TV than good movies.
Good movies.
Yeah, I'm kind of notorious for watching really bad movies.
When you say nominated, was it nominated for Best Picture? Or was it for an individual award?
I think it was for Best Picture, but I can double check. For Picture, Actor, and Best Adapted Screenplay.
Okay, we're ready to lock in, I think.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, we are.
So then we'll share our discussion. The first thing I told Bob asked Bob was, is Robert De Niro in Good Morning Vietnam? Because I'm aware of it being a nominated film, I believe. And Bob says, I've never seen it. And that's what led to that conversation of, holy crap, really? And then other things Robin Williams did, it's like, it's not Mrs. Doubtfire. It's not Hook. It's not Good Will Hunting. It's not Patch Adams. It's not What Dreams May Come. It's not Mork and Mindy. It's not Toys.
What's the Robin Williams movie directed by Laverne from Laverne and Shirley?
I don't know. What's it about? It's not Bicentennial Man.
No, definitely not. Older, much older. Awakenings.
Yeah. That could be it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either, but
that could be it, Bob. I like that better than Good Morning Vietnam. The fact that we got to talk this out is actually like helping us here, I think. I think that's going to be right.
I have no idea. I just throwing out, but I know that was a really, really big movie for him, and I have not seen it.
And I could see De Niro being like a patient or something in that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Works for me. I don't know. I haven't seen either movie.
Okay, we're going to say Awakenings.
Okay.
Well, when you said Oliver Sacks, I don't know movies. The only Oliver Sacks book I know is The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat, but I think that was later, and I don't think that's a Robin Williams movie, so Neil, take it away, because I had a bag of nothing otherwise.
Yeah, and I started to think about Good Morning Vietnam, and I asked the question if De Niro was in that, but I didn't think so, but I was fairly certain it was Oscar nominated, but it was late 80s, and so we went, and I thought for a bit longer, and I thought 73 looks like a good time period for a book about Vietnam. And then we kind of stopped thinking and locked in with that because we didn't have anything else. And then you guys started talking, and I thought, nope, that's even better. And I'm fairly certain you're probably right on this one with Awakenings.
Yeah, in 1990, Penny Marshall directed a film based on a 1973 book called Awakenings.
Well done, guys.
Oh, Bob!
Rose for the win.
Bob!
This is the first time I have ever heard of Awakenings, so I learned a thing.
And I only just got the clue in the category title as well. I should have looked again.
What was the category?
Yeah. Jason McKibben likes his Z's after waking up early.
Oh, my God. See, all I see when I think of the movie Awakenings, which I haven't thought of in 30 years, I have a visual image of Robin Williams like in a bathrobe with his arms stretched out in like at a beach or something.
Yeah, no, it's a really good book. It's about like using a new drug to bring people out of a catatonic state. So, all right, good job, guys. All right, round 2, question 3. Breece. I'll just say it again. Breece.
How do you spell that?
Breece. Brees Hall was a unanimous All-American and the Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year in 2020 and led the NCAA in rushing yards that year. What weather-related team did he play for?
This would be a really good time to know all the Big 12 teams, which is something that I do not.
All 10 of them?
Yeah, right. Is it 10?
Yeah.
Why did they went from the Big 10 to the Big 12? What is that about? Do we need to give you the college name or the team name?
I'll take either.
All right, we're going to lock in with what is probably a wrong answer.
All right.
So we've been talking through, I know NFL level football. My college football isn't the best. I couldn't tell you which ones were in which division of college football. So I've been leaning on Nicolle and just throwing states and cities at her and hoping she comes up with a nickname that fits.
Yeah, we've just been running through a lot of states and a lot of cities. I know college mascots reasonably well. I don't follow college football, so that makes it a little tough. We've run through most of the Midwest and South and Mid-South, anything that could possibly be Big 12. Because again, these conferences have shifted around so much that it's definitely not what it was when I was a kid. The only weather-ish things that we've stumbled across, the one that immediately came to mind when you said weather was the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. The only even slightly weather-ish other one that came to mind was the Tulane Green Wave, but I don't think Green Wave is quite weathery. Out of what we have, I really like Tulsa Golden Hurricane is as good as I'm going to get to.
Yeah, and I'm happy with that.
Let's lock in with Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
All right.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What? You just locked in, so.
Because it just hit me that Cheyenne lives in freaking
Tulsa, yeah. As soon as you said Tulsa Golden Hurricane, I'm like, well, he does live in Tulsa. I've never heard of the Golden Hurricane, though, so that's right. It's not going to be right for us. In my head, there's a team called the Cyclones with a blue uniform or a blue helmet or something like that. We couldn't think of where they're from. St. John's has the Red Storm. Miami has the Hurricanes, but we don't know the Big 12 schools, so we locked in with Cyclones.
Well, that's Iowa State, that is a weather thing. Maybe, actually, it wouldn't surprise me if it's the Iowa State Cyclones. Let's see. Cheyenne is laughing.
Yes, it is the Iowa State Cyclone.
Oh my
God! Yeah, I didn't even think about that, like the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Like I didn't think about that could be like a.
So here's a little sneak peek into. I said I can't name the Big 12, and I can't, but. Tell me if these are Big 12 schools, okay? Because I did name a bunch of mascots in the middle of the country, okay? Michigan State Spartans. Is that Big 12?
No,
they're Big 10.
That's Big 10.
So there's a Big 12 and a Big 10?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Well, I was... Are the rest of these Big 10? I have Wisconsin, Michigan,
Big
Ohio
10,
State,
Big 10,
Iowa,
Big 10,
Nebraska,
Big 10,
Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are Big 12. All the other ones you said are Big 10.
And
Nebraska
we still lucked into Cyclones, bro.
Yeah, Nebraska was Big 12, and then they switched to Big 10. And the Big 12 has 10 teams, and the Big 10 has 14 teams.
Why don't they just do 2 divisions of 13 and call it a day?
What's fun is watching being a part of Jonathan pulling a Jonathan and actually having input. That's a lot of fun.
Oh man, literally we listed hurricane, tornado, cyclones, and red storm, and I was like, I think there's a cyclone somewhere, but I don't know anything about it.
I'm all proud from being across the pond and getting ones that are right, but in the wrong blooming division.
At the end of the second round, the score is 60-30 off of some lucky guesses. Bob and Jonathan are in a lead.
Going forward, I just want you, my category names are pretty much just straight shout outs. So from this point forward, don't try to use them for.
Okay, so like the Z's and all of that, no longer using those.
Right.
Okay, no octopuses left in this set.
Right. Round 3, question 1. AJ Mass needs to be attacked or tortured or something by a bunch of teddy bears or furries or mascots, something. For what
Do you want AJ to be attacked by furries?
Mascots.
Hold on, man. Hold on. I mean,
after what he puts some of us through in his hot seat.
I'm just saying, being attacked by furries might not be bad. He might have a good time.
Have you not
it
seen
also
Gremlins?
might give him flashbacks given the old Mr. Met days.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. What noble actor, who is also married to a famous actress known for children's books and horror films, has appeared in the movies The Princess Bride, Little Shop of Horrors, and A Few Good Men?
I just watched, it was funny, literally just watched The Princess Bride 2 nights ago with MJ, and it was her first time seeing The Princess Bride. And when you introduce like an 80s movie to somebody who's never seen it, and it's one of your favorites, it's always risky because it's like, oh God, are they going to like this movie that I love? Because the 80s were a different time, you know? And at the end of it, she's like, I loved it. And I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God we share this now, because it's easy to not like some of the stuff from the 80s.
By the way, we're locked in.
Wonderful. Great. Okay, so the movies were Princess Bride. I can name damn near everybody in The Princess Bride.
I know you can.
I don't know what they've done other than The Princess Bride, though, so good luck with that. A Few Good Men and Little Shop of Horrors. Okay, so Little Shop of Horrors, let's start there. It has Tashina from Martin. She's one of the doo-wop
Okay,
triplets.
yes.
Rick Moranis, Steve Martin, and Audrey, whose name I don't know. She's not the right answer, though. It's not Rick Moranis, and it's not Steve Martin. It's not Tashina.
So it's a guy whose wife is a children's author and...
A noble whose wife is a children's author. Okay. I don't know anything about that part. A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson, Kevin Bacon, Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, the short guy whose name's Stanley, not Tucci. The other guy who's kind of like Stanley Tucci. It's not him anyway. That's not getting us anywhere.
Nope.
I'm gonna give you Princess Bride people. You tell me if any of them are in A Few Good Men. All right?
I haven't seen A Few Good Men in a long time.
Visualize, Bob. Visualize.
I'm working on it.
All right, here we go. So it's not Carrie Elwes. It's not Robin Wright.
And not Robin White.
No, Robin Wright. Robin White. Marriage. Robin White. It's not Mandy Patinkin. It's not Andre the Giant.
Definitely not.
Could be Wallace Shawn, but I don't think so. It's probably going to be Christopher Guest or Chris Sarandon.
Those are the two that I was narrowing in on. I don't think it's Christopher Guest.
I was about to say I think it's probably Christopher Guest.
You think so? You think so?
I think it's probably Christopher Guest.
Because most of what I know him to be in...
He was in This Is Spinal Tap, right?
He was.
That means he's British.
Yes.
He said noble.
Okay. That's better than
That's
anything
the
I've
best
got.
logic I got.
That's
We're
yes. Okay.
going to say Christopher Guest.
Dagnabbit, Jonathan, why did you just pull a Jonathan there? You were naming all these people, and you were so far away from Christopher Guest. But you said, sir, he's married to Jamie Lee Curtis, who does children's books and horror films. Cheyenne was trying to throw the distraction by not naming any of the mockumentaries. It's Christopher Guest.
Wow.
Yes. And, I actually, correct, both of y'all are correct. And I was like, after I looked at it, I was like, you know what? The reason I went with Christopher Guest on this was because of Beat My Guest. That's what starts.
Oh, it's a clue, you jerk.
I was like, I actually did. This was the last one that had one of those. Everything else is everything else inspired things. But I was like, oh, please don't let that throw me off.
I'm just glad I remembered this because there was a question that was along these lines a while ago in Learned League, and I missed it completely because I had no idea Christopher Guest and Jamie Lee Curtis are married. So I remembered a thing.
Do y'all know who did he play in A Few Good Men or Little Shop of Horrors? I don't remember him in either.
I have no idea.
His Wikipedia page to see what he was in and try to get some and try not to do the super obvious ones.
Yeah,
because I was trying to with the Jamie Lee kind of twist in there. I also found out that he was in the Charles Bronson movie Death Wish.
Ooh.
Which I just
honestly,
found.
he should have been in Beauty and the Beast. Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test.
Tie your napkin around your neck, Shelley, and we provide the rest.
I love it.
Her accent's better than yours.
Oh, so much better. By the way, I don't know if y'all know this. Everybody should know this, but I was watching a behind the scenes on Beauty and the Beast or something and saw them doing the recordings of Beauty and the Beast. And Lumiere is the guy from like Law and Order. I don't remember his name. I don't remember his name. It's
Jerry Orbach?
Orbach, yes.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
So if you go look, you may not know who his name, but go look up Jerry Orbach and you'll see him and you'll be like, that's a crime drama guy. It's Lumiere.
That's the dad from Dirty Dancing.
That's a good way to remember him, yeah.
Yeah, that's who he is.
Oh, yeah, I saw him doing it. Like he's singing next to Angela Lansbury in the studio, and you're like, this is incredible.
Yeah. All right. Round 3, question 2. Aniki Garcia is, well, amazing.
Hi, Aniki. You're one of her sons.
Yes, I am. What Utah city, which is home to Weber State, shares its name with the first name of a poet known for the lines in a baseball poem, such as N is for Newsom, A is for Alex, S is for Speaker, and H is for Hornsby?
You're going to need to read that again, maybe even slowly.
Yeah, okay. What Utah city, which is home to Weber State, shares its name with the first name of a poet known for the lines in a baseball poem, such as N is for Newsom, A is for Alex, S is for Speaker, and H is for Hornsby?
Get out Mjolnir again.
Oh, okay.
Meow meow.
All right, let me do. Meow meow. Better?
A little bit. Now,
Yes,
next time,
locked it.
do this right in front of the mic.
Okay.
It's like this.
Meow. Okay. I'm getting there. I'm practicing.
It's just the best.
It's very thunderous.
Hey, trust me. When we did the Weird Al, I was like, I want to do this. I want the hammer, and
It was downstairs.
and I never got the hammer. I had never even thought of it. Never even grabbed the hammer. And so I've been wanting to do that. It's like, no, today I'm grabbing the hammer.
Bob wants to grab my hammer.
Well, don't make it sound dirty.
Well, just saying. Okay, so they locked in, Bob. So the only Utah cities I know are Salt Lake City and Provo.
Okay.
Okay, do you know any other Utah cities?
You know 2 more than I do.
Shazbot. Okay, so then we have this clue, which is baseball related.
Right? Baseball poem.
And yeah, like Ernest Thayer did Casey at the Bat, which is not this poem. No, maybe Thurber. Was that Casey at the Bat? It was either Thurber. I think it's Thayer. Ernest. I don't think this is that. I noticed that the Nash spells Nash.
I noticed it spelled Nash too, and those...
Who's Ogden Nash? Who is that? Is that a poet?
Wait. Ogden, I think, might be a...
City in Utah?
Yeah, that's
Is Ogden Nash a poet?
Maybe. I've heard the name, I'm sure, but I don't put 2 things together quite like you do. But Ogden sounds like a city to me that I've heard of.
Okay, let's go with Ogden.
All right. If this is wrong, I'm going to be the one to ruin the flow.
Yeah, the flow. Okay, go for it. Lock it in.
All right. Locked in with Ogden.
Y'all pulled another Jonathan, didn't you?
Did we?
Oh my God. I love Ogden Nash. I read a ton of Ogden Nash as a kid. I know this baseball poem because there was recently a quad, I think, in Mimir's Well with that poem. I had his book of zoo poems, which are equally whimsical, like his skink poem. If you've never read The Skink by Ogden Nash, it's hilarious and you should. Ogden is a city in Utah. Huh. It's Ogden, as in Ogden Nash.
Yep. Good job, guys.
These, by the way, so in a little aside, first of all, that's a wonderfully written question. Wonderfully written, because you give the Weber State, which is not a well-known college, and if they happen to know that, that's a way in. The part of the poem you chose gave the last name, if somebody can figure that part out, because it's not obvious in the question that that's what you've done. Right. It just so happens that the way you write questions seems to be lining up really well with my actual skill in trivia. Because unlike Nicolle, I'm not good at remembering answers, but I'm damn good at figuring out clues. And so
I am the opposite. I'm horrific at picking up hints. I just remember random crap.
Yeah. It's funny. Everybody's different, but this is playing to my skill for sure.
I'm glad that you said that after that question.
Okay.
Because this next question is
Awful.
purposely brutal.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
Because this is my, oh my God, Henry Herron, how did you know that?
Oh, Henry is so
one of my-
good.
He is so good. And he pulls stuff out that I'm just like, what? So here's the question that's dedicated to Henry Herron. Ashoka the Great, grandson of Chandragupta, was an emperor of what Indian dynasty?
All right, we're gonna go ahead and lock in. So I have literally one Indian dynasty name that I know that isn't in the question, and Bob said he doesn't have any in his head. So between the two of us, we only have one possible answer. So we're locked in.
All right.
We're having a chat because I think in Learnedly this week or recently, a Indian dynasty came up, and on another quiz podcast I listened to, Good Job Brain, had a question about the Taj Mahal and Mumtaz Mahal this week as well. So I think we're going with the Mughal dynasty as well.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I don't think Chandragupta would be in the name if it were the Gupta dynasty, and that was a while back anyway. There's the Mauryans, which was like forever back. Mm-hmm. There's the Chola, which was also a long time ago. But yeah, we're locked in with the Mughals.
The Moops. The card says the Moops. Yeah, so literally, I think there was a Learnedly question about this week.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason that I know the name of any Indian dynasty that isn't Gupta. So we said the Mughals.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to ask an LL question right after the LL question.
Sure.
And I think the name might have been said. I couldn't quite hear. But the reason I threw Ashoka is the most famous of their emperors. But the reason I threw in that he's the grandson of Chandragupta is because Chandragupta's last name is Maurya. So it's the Mauryan or Maurya Empire.
Oh, yeah. No, I listed Mauryan. I just wasn't. Yeah, okay.
Not where Tolkien.
Yeah, about 1,000 years before the Mughals.
I didn't realize Ashoka the Great was that long ago.
Yeah.
I mean, when did she put her lightsaber together? Sorry, a shout out to the Star Wars people out there. Ashoka is a popular character. At the end of the third round, it's 80-50. 80-50, Bob and Jonathan have a lead.
All right, here we go for halftime. The category for halftime is John Presloyd is too hot for his own good. Really,
Preach.
He's super smart. He's good looking. He's super nice. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah. Of course, we don't like him on my trivia team because he beat Kelsey, I believe, in Jeopardy, like on the show. Right. So we have a beef with John, and he makes it really hard to have a beef with him because he is a fantastic guy.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, he's like I've run against him in pop solos a couple times. He's real good. He'll whip me, but he's real nice.
Yeah. So, for 5 points apiece, name the 4 people who have won People's Sexiest Man Alive that have the letters JOHN together in their name.
Oh, in their name.
Together.
So
yes.
The word John is in their name somewhere.
Yes. And common name, right? Like if
not like
my middle name was John, right? Like I would be known as Cheyenne Fletcher, but if my middle name happened to be John, that
doesn't
not
count.
that.
Okay, first last name.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
I don't suppose Pope John Paul II was ever the sexiest man alive.
I think the first was, but he was.
Oh yeah,
he wasn't there long enough. Yeah, I was on his way to it. Yeah,
sexy bastard.
I think we're locked in.
Yeah, we are.
All right, so we did a lot of soul searching here, and Bob immediately came up with Dwayne Johnson, which is awesome. I've had multiple conversations with MJ about JFK Jr., John F. Kennedy Jr., and I know that he was the sexiest man alive one year, so we went with John F. Kennedy Jr. We're taking a pretty reasonable guess in the 80s at Don Johnson. And then the last one that we're back and forth on is, could it be John Travolta or could it be John Stamos? I think the list started in the 80s, and I don't think Travolta has been too sexy. Like, he's been fine. He's been in the movies, but he hasn't been like Saturday Night Fever John Travolta. He hasn't been Grease John Travolta while this list has existed.
And he hasn't been too sexy for his shirt.
No, exactly. He won't take his shirt off.
And my thing with John Stamos, while I came up with that one, I just don't know if he was ever big enough to be. But
I like Stamos better.
All right, let's go with Stamos.
We'll go with Stamos. Yeah, all right. So we're saying Dwayne Johnson, JFK Jr., Don Johnson, and John Stamos.
We had a good back and forth here, especially with some really good wrong answers, I think.
Y'all look like y'all were having fun.
But like you said, I mean, that shopping cart.
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville in the shopping cart, perfectly sexy man alive, I think. So we went back and forth. One of the first ones we came up with, Nicolle came up with, was Johnny Depp. We talked around a couple of sporting ones, but Nicole's right, they're probably more actors and musicians, so we rule out Magic Johnson, John Elway, but then we both typed Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at the same time. I came up later on with John Legend, and I think the perfect fourth answer has got to be Jonathan Oakes.
I mean, it would be perfect if I spelled my name with an H, but that is anathema to me.
I mean, there's an A and a T between and the H is in a weird order, but you know.
But where are you
if
people?
You haven't been named sexiest man alive, you should be.
I do appreciate that. If there was no one else alive, I would definitely claim that title.
Well, you're the best one amongst our recording today.
Oh, thank you.
I disagree, but okay.
You don't have John in your name anywhere.
Oh, that's true.
Quit stealing my thunder. All right, Sam.
All right. So here we go. Yeah. The one that I thought was going to be tough, the first one that, like, chronologically, is John F. Kennedy Jr. in 1988. So good pull on that.
It's only because MJ and I have talked about John F. I was like, why do people think he's good looking? Because I don't. I think he looks just totally blah. I think he gets credit for his family and his kid pictures, but women disagree with me, so they probably know more than I do.
Well, I think JFK Jr. is just very cookie cutter, conventionally attractive dude trademark. And since people's goal is to sell magazines, there's a lot of conventional.
See, I disagree with that though. I don't think he's handsome. So that's the difference for me.
All right. So the next one, winning in 2003 and 2009, was Johnny Depp.
God, when they said Johnny Depp, I was like, crap, that's right.
Dwayne Johnson in 2016. And then I came up with this idea, and I was going through the list, right? And I was like, oh, I'm running out of possibilities. And luckily enough, in 2019, John Legend won it.
Yes.
Oh, no!
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So that's 15 for y'all and 10 for us, I think?
Yep.
Wow. Good one. All right. At the end of the midpoint, Bob and Jonathan have a good score of 90. Neil and Nicolle have a good score of 65. It's a good game, 90-65. All right. That is the end of the first half of today's game. But before we go on to the second half, I want to let you know that today's show is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp has been a longtime supporter of Trivial Warfare, and they support us in more ways than just by advertising with us. I use BetterHelp for my counseling services. BetterHelp assesses your needs. You fill out a questionnaire. They have people who specialize in talking to you about exactly what you need to talk about. You get connected online in a safe and private environment, and you can get this thing started in under 48 hours. This is not a crisis line. This is not self-help. This is real professional counseling. I've mentioned a bunch of times you can message your counselor whenever you want. You can send messages regularly, or you can just do it when you need to. You can schedule appointments when you need to. Once a week. It's outstanding. BetterHelp is working to facilitate great matches so that you really fit with the person that you're talking to. I started out with one counselor, and after meeting them for the first meeting, I said, yeah, you know what? That person's really not for me. After that, I switched over to my counselor, Crystal, and we've been going strong ever since. She has been super helpful to me. It doesn't matter what you need help with. They've got somebody for you. Do you need to talk about self-esteem issues? Maybe it's grief, family conflicts, anger, trauma. Maybe you just need help sleeping. They have people that can help you. Whatever you share with them is confidential, just like with any counselor. It is convenient, it's professional, and it is affordable. You can start living a happier life today. Today. That's right. As a listener of Trivial Warfare, you will get 10% off of your first month. Go visit our sponsor at betterhelp.com/TWA. There's over 1 million people who have already taken charge of their mental health. You can do it too. Go to BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/TWA. All right, let's get on with the second half of today's game.
So this second half is 100% dedicated to my live stream team that I talk to these people every single night, pretty much, for the past year. Team Coast to Coast. So this first one is John Liu's Dinner.
Okay.
A dish known as inari, named after the Shinto god of the same name, is usually made with a fried pocket of tofu filled with what other food item?
Spell inari?
INARI.
All right, we're going to lock in with our incorrect guess.
So we're talking back and forth. It's not really either of our ballparks. We've worked out that's Japanese. So we've gone through. You were talking about unagi, were you, Nicolle?
Yeah, I was talking about different kinds of sushi, just because those are really that's really the only Japanese cuisine I have much knowledge about. And we were thinking through like fish or eel, but like ebi is shrimp and unagi is eel. And well, that's freshwater eel. I actually forget the word for saltwater eel, but yeah, inari doesn't ring a bell. And then we got the idea of like, you got the idea that tofu is something you often eat when you don't eat meat.
Yeah.
So
we're talking between seaweed or something, a seaweed type thing, or rice. I think I lean more to if it's in there as a substitute, I might go seaweed, because rice would probably be.
The texture of rice in a seaweed pocket does not sound, of rice in a tofu pocket does not sound appetizing.
Yeah.
Whereas seaweed in a tofu pocket could actually be pretty good.
Yeah, so we go with that because it sounds like it would taste good.
Let's lock in with seaweed.
Yeah.
Boy, did that conversation sound familiar to you?
It did sound familiar, but we didn't say seaweed. So I know John, but I don't know what his heritage is. I know that he's of Asian descent, but I don't know which country. We weren't able to nail down Japan because I'm terrible with language, and apparently Bob is too. But we were talking about texture, right? I was like, hey, if tofu is a meat replacement, throw some cheese in there, and that sounds pretty good.
And I was like, the textures of tofu and cheese are a little too similar. So I was actually leaning towards a vegetable, much the kind of the same thought that y'all came to.
I mean, it could have been like a tofu cordon bleu.
Which doesn't sound good. Anything with tofu in it doesn't sound good to me, though.
So we guessed kimchi.
Y'all just landed on the wrong side, Nicolle and Neil. It's sushi rice. It's filled with like the actual vinegar rice.
Oh, it's
I think it's like rice later.
It's a sushi meal, like you get it at a sushi place.
Okay.
So
no, that was rice was on our list, but yeah. Although now, actually, y'all are talking about like tofu cordon bleu, and I'm imagining like cordon bleu, but done with like firm tofu. That actually sounds really good to me.
See?
That sounds amazing.
If y'all ever go to a sushi place, if they have inari, you should give it a try. It's really good. Question 2, round 4. Leslie Hyman's printer. Her printer's always going off when we're playing trivia. Printers often run on 4 ink cartridges with the initials CYMK. What do the letters CYMK stand for?
All right, we'll lock in.
All right, so I knew the C was cyan and the Y was yellow.
And I thought the M was magenta, which sounds right.
Yeah, as soon as you said the M was magenta, then it clicked something. And actually, you said K is something black or blue, I think. And I want to say it's black because those are the 4 colors of ink in a printer. There's cyan, yellow, magenta, and black. And the letter K is in black. And I mean, we already have the blue covered with the cyan.
I agree with the black. My head has some sort of Japanese word in it with a K and a Y in it for the black, if that makes sense. Because I'm not. Do you see what I mean? But I might be wrong there. It might be leading me down a wrong path. I wasn't sure if it wasn't black for K, the K in black, or whether it was a specific word beginning with K.
That I don't know. Like, I've always known that CMYK was printer colors, but I guess I just never looked up what that full acronym was. I knew cyan, yellow, magenta are definitely those 3 colors of ink. I don't know what a word starting with K would be if it's not just...
Yeah, my head's jumped to a printer name, a brand of printer we sometimes get in the UK, I think, but which may not even be that, which is Kyocera.
Kyocera. We have Kyoceras here.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure if that was... But that's maybe where my head went with the KY thing. But let's go with black and leave it at black, yeah.
So we'll lock in with cyan, yellow, magenta, black.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've changed the ink in a printer a bunch of times, and the colors that I'm aware of are cyan, yellow, magenta, and black.
And I agreed, so that's what we went with.
All right, so those are the 4 like cyan is the blue, yellow is the yellow, magenta is the ready one. But the K for the black comes from like the key plate. So it's a key is what the K stands for the black.
I thought you said what 4 colors.
No, he said what?
I said what do they stand for?
Yeah, he did say what do they stand for.
So the K is key. It is not black.
Yep.
Wow, that's a point that none of us got.
All right. So round 4, question 3. This category is going to sound like a question, but it's not. It's a category. Multiple choice, true, false, or it's complicated. Within 10%, how many Scoville units is the hottest pepper grown on the southern slope of the tallest mountain in northern Eswatini? This is my homage to Russ Friedwald because he gets so mad at all these different questions. And so I just shoved them all into the same thing. He's like, closer than? No. True or false? No. He's always...
That's the longest category title I've ever heard. When are you going to ask the question?
It's right here.
I'm just glad that's not the actual question.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm really glad that might not be a clue to the answer.
Which current SNL cast member
God, really?
slated to co-star in the upcoming show Schmigadoon, is known for such characters as the girl you wish you hadn't started a conversation with at a party, and Kira, a co-host of the Girlfriends Talk Show.
Well, Bob, I got to tell you, I'm not an SNL person, and I'm certainly not a current SNL person. I don't know who's on the cast right now.
Uh-oh.
We're going to lock in.
We've been back and forth. Nicolle, we're both not SNL people. Nicolle, you named someone who we both think is on the cast.
Yeah, I threw out the name Maya Rudolph, who is either on the cast or at least was recently on the cast. I know there's also someone at least fairly recent who I remember from seeing stuff on YouTube of her playing like Hillary Clinton and Jeff Sessions and stuff during the President Who Shall Not Be Named administration.
I've just thought of another name.
What did you think of?
Kate McKinnon, the one from the female Ghostbusters, but I don't think it's her.
Okay.
I think I can see the person in my mind, but the way I described it, Nicolle, not helpfully, was like it was a brunette version of Daphne from Scooby-Doo, which doesn't help at all.
Well, it would help if I watched the show and or had any facial memory whatsoever. The problem is I don't. Like anybody who's played trivia with me knows I'm face blind.
So we know we're down to 2 people we know who are on the cast and are female. and I don't think it's the one from Kenan and Kel, because that would be an actor, but they sometimes do switch genders.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like something
And
that Kenan Thompson would do.
And it's not the
though.
one married to Scarlett Johansson, is it?
I don't even know which one is married to Scarlett Johansson.
The lucky one.
My best friend always says that I have the pop culture awareness of a Soviet emigre, and I always tell him that he gives me too much credit. Like, I have met literal Soviet emigres who have more American pop culture awareness than I do.
And hands up, I have to give a shout out to my wife here. She's the one who watches it every week. I don't. I just happen to be in the room sometimes when she does. And this is me kind of picking it up by osmosis in the room sometimes. So should we go Maya Rudolph or Kate McKinnon?
We at least know that Maya Rudolph is the name of a recent SNL cast member. So let's lock in with Maya Rudolph.
Yep. Let's do that.
So, Neil, is the Daphne from Scooby-Doo, are you thinking Kristen Wiig?
Possibly. Might be.
Also from Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So we came down, can't name that many females on the cast right now. Jonathan threw out the two that are in my that I think of right away, which are Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon. I don't think Leslie Jones is on right now. I think she cycled off on this last year or the year before. And Maya Rudolph was the one name I couldn't come up with, but I don't think she's on the cast either. I think she's just coming in to portray Vice President Harris now and then. So the only one I'm sure is on the cast that's a female is Kate McKinnon, and so that's who we went with, Kate McKinnon.
Kick myself if it's Kate McKinnon. I really will.
Well, no need to kick yourself. It's Cecily Strong.
Okay, thank you.
I really wanted to see him kick himself, honestly. That would be amazing.
And does she look like a brunette?
I think that's who you're thinking of. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay,
So, Bob, you did say there might be somebody named Cicely or Sissy, but you didn't have a last name.
I didn't have a last name. No, but I have that name. It was striking a bell that there was somebody by that name who's on the show right now.
So,
Yeah, she's been on since 2012.
What we've learned is that we're not good at questions that are inspired by Cheyenne's trivia team. We all got blanked in that round. The score after the fourth round is still 90-65.
Oh, goodness. Hopefully this second half isn't too brutal. All right. Round 5, question 1. Where in the world is Jeffrey Seguritan eating a McRib?
Where in the world is Jeffrey Seguritan?
Okay. Jeffrey is actually eating a halal meal after watching a Lollywood movie in front of Shalimar Gardens in what world capital? The second largest city by population in its country. Okay, you know what? I just realized after I read that it's incorrect.
Oh, okay.
That's what was making us struggle with it so much, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
I will say it's not a world capital.
Meow,
it's
meow.
the second largest in its country.
But it's not a world capital.
But it's not a world capital.
And Neil, you have confidence now?
Yeah, I do.
Bob?
Meow meow!
There you go. The guy's got it now. That was good.
Yeah, after I was like, wait, no, it's not. And so I just had to double check it.
Okay, so now we're talking out loud, which is not good on this question. So, Bob, we both said Bollywood would be India.
Right?
Where's Lollywood?
Don't know.
Do you think it's going to be in a place that starts with L?
No, Bollywood has nothing to do with.
How did Bollywood get its name? Where did the B? No, it's the.
No, I know it's their movie.
It's the version of Hollywood. So Ollywood comes from Hollywood, but where does B come from in Bollywood? Why do they call it that? If we know that, maybe we can back into Lollywood. Okay. Same here. Okay, so there's that. Lollywood, we have Shalimar Gardens, which sounds vaguely exotic. Shalimar. Halal, I believe, is a Muslim concept of pure food, like has never been touched pork or anything like that. I don't know specifically what halal means, but I believe it's something like that.
So something like similar to kosher.
Similar, yes. That's kind of not the same.
So it wouldn't be, it's obviously not Jewish.
Like halal food are foods that worshiping Muslims can eat during certain times. I think, and still stay pure. So it would be a Muslim nation, probably. Muslim nations all over the world. Africa's full of them. Europe's got plenty. So that doesn't help too much. It's big enough of a city to be worth asking about, even though it's the second largest in its country, right? So you could be talking about, like, I don't know, Hong Kong? I doubt it.
It could. You realize this boils down to a geography question, and you know what category I'm worst at?
It's not geography. It's stuff you know about countries and cities. But it's not a capital. Oh, man, we're screwed. We don't know this. What are the main cities in Iran? They have, so Tehran is the capital. Right. So it's not Tehran. Baghdad is Iraq. What's the second? Islamabad, maybe?
So Iran,
I mean,
Saudi Arabia.
I don't know. I honestly don't even know if Islamabad is in Iran. I know they make movies there.
Yeah, I agree. They do make movies.
Is Islamabad in Iran or is that Afghanistan?
Geography.
It's the best answer I have.
All right.
We're going to guess Islamabad.
So, yeah, if you did know where Bollywood came from, it might well have helped. Bollywood originally came from the original name of Mumbai, which is Bombay, which is India. I think Lollywood comes from the country just to the northwest, which is Pakistan. And the second largest city in Pakistan is Lahore, I think. So Lollywood.
And that is correct. And that's after I read that question. Speaking of Islamabad, I was like, what's the capital of Pakistan?
Oh, no. We got that close?
Yeah, you did indeed.
So everybody just revel in my ignorance, okay? Just enjoy that. Still got close, though. I've never heard...
So you were pulling a Jonathan, and we were chatting away here going, he's getting so close. He's getting so close.
That's why I like the time check thing. I was like, I don't really want to cut him off right now because, like, he's kind of...
No, you did the right thing because Lahore is not a city in my punch bowl. I'm not familiar with it. I could not get any closer than I got.
Yeah, Karachi's the biggest. Lahore is second. So...
Oh, well, hey, that is the first points in the second half. Good job out of you two.
I think it's the first time you've got points where you haven't.
Yeah, sorry about that. Like, after I was like, wait, no. Okay.
No, it's great.
So, round 5, question 2. Mike Perau is a head case.
Shout out to Mike.
Yes, he's a neuroscientist at Harvard. The bulb is an archaic name for what 2-word stem-like structure, which makes up the lower portion of the brain stem.
All right, we're on a streak. We're going to lock in. That's why they call me the streak.
All right, so we were just kind of brainstorming brain parts and possible 2-word brain parts, and the first thing that came to my mind was the medulla oblongata, which I think is somewhere near the brainstem. Oblong makes me think egg shape, ovoid, something like a bulb. Cerebral cortex is 2 words, but that's the coding. You thought of temporal lobe, which I think of lobes as being kind of the main part of the brain and less the stem part.
I think we go with your one, which I can't pronounce, so you go again with that.
Yes, let's lock in with medulla oblongata.
Did the question say something about 2 words?
Yes.
I missed that part of the question altogether. I should have asked for a repeat. Well, we're way wrong then. Yeah, so Bob actually immediately suggested medulla oblongata. Not a lot of reasoning, but
right.
I didn't realize that we were looking for 2 words.
And if we were, then that's probably what we'd have gone with.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so bulb-shaped. I thought maybe bulb-shaped could be bell-shaped, and maybe bell-shaped would be why they named the cerebellum a cerebellum, so that's what we went with.
Well, Nicolle was spot on. This is the medulla oblongata.
Sorry, Bob.
Way to go. Nice one.
Something might be wrong with your medulla oblongata.
All right. Round 5, question 3. Sarah Perau's voice must be amazing, but we don't hear it enough. She's an opera singer. What character's name is the title of both an Antonio Salieri work and a Giuseppe Verdi opera, both based on the Merry Wives of Windsor?
We're going to lock in.
Fair.
So I think we're locked in too.
Yeah. Figaro is a character in 3 different Shakespeare operas. I think Merry Wives of Windsor is one of them. I know there's an opera called Marriage of Figaro. There's Figaro just seems to be a character that pops up, so we like Figaro.
All right, and for us, the 2 names that I wrote down, first off, I'm not talking over Bob. He said he knows nothing about opera.
Literally nothing.
Literally nothing. So I wrote down 2 names, Figaro and Rigoletto. Rigoletto and Verdi are tied together in my head for some reason. I don't know if that's a Verdi opera or not, but we guessed Rigoletto.
And the answer on this one is Falstaff.
Falstaff! Oh, no, Falstaff!
Yeah.
That's the character that's in 3 Shakespeare plays. I'm so sorry. Oh, no.
I know. As soon as you said it, I was like, she's thinking of Falstaff. She's on the right path.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
At least they didn't get it either.
At the end of the 5th round, guys, it's 90 to 85. Bob and Jonathan have missed 6 straight questions. 90 to 85. It is truly anyone's game.
Round 3, question 1. Ed's Fried Walrus. This is an anagram of Russ Friedwald that John Liu came up with. So, here we go. This is where you need your pen and paper. Fairwater rival can be anagrammed into what currently appropriate 2-word phrase?
Currently appropriate?
What's the phrase that we're anagramming?
Yeah, Fairwater rival.
Fair water rival?
Yep, Fairwater space rival. RIVAL. Like lots of these quizzes we play, like Gentleman Octopus, Dan's quiz, Jeff's trivia, Jeff Carter's trivia, they all do anagrams, and I just love them. So,
Meow meow!
They ignored your meow meow. And we are locked in.
Yes, we are locked in.
We are also gonna. This is a double meow meow, and Bob doesn't even know it yet. I just ticked off the letters in order for him, and he didn't get it. So double meow meow.
I think we can 3, 2, 1 this.
I think we can 3, 2, 1 this. Cheyenne, count us down.
3, 2, 1.
Trivial Warfare.
Yeah, I just had to shove it in there. All right. All right.
Get it now?
Yeah,
I did it in order.
You did, but I wasn't following.
All right. Round 6, question 2. Tim Edwards is questionable company. Shameless plug for our trivia company. And to be honest, he kind of is. All right. What co-founder of the Writers' Trust of Canada wrote novels named Oryx and Crate, The Blind Assassin, and The Testaments?
Could you say those again? What was it? Oryx?
Oryx and Crate.
Can you
Like
spell that?
cake with an R in it.
Oryx is
The Blind
O-R-I-X.
Assassin. Yeah, ORYX.
And The Testaments.
We're locked in.
Canadian Writing Trust, Bob?
Nope.
Okay, well, I can name a Canadian author.
Okay, who you got?
I got Margaret Atwood.
Okay, works for me.
Sure, we'll say Margaret Atwood.
Well, you named the right Canadian author. I worked at the bookstore when Oryx and Crake was new, and there were piles of it there. I remember The Blind Assassin being there, too, and The Testaments is the sequel to Handmaid's Tale. It's Margaret Atwood.
Holy crap. Literally could only name one Canadian author, and it was the one. Oh, my God.
I can name her and Alice Munro.
All right.
That was incredible.
Good job, guys. Round 6, question 3. Trivia Workshop. This is my favorite game. This is another shout out to Russ Friedwald.
He is
I just love his game.
master question writer.
Yes. All right, and this is my least favorite type of question because I'm really bad at it. But here is the obligatory lyric question because Russ is so good at music. This song hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 twice in the same year. My wrist, stop watching, my neck is flossy. Make big deposits, make glasses poppin'. You like my hair? Gee, thanks. Just bought it. I see it. I like it. I want it. I got it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the song, Bob. I'm not going to know the song, but I can guess at the artist.
Okay.
Do we need the artist or the song title?
Song title.
Okay. All right, we're locking in.
Okay, we don't know the answer. I think it sounds like it would be a Lizzo song. It sounds like Lizzo.
Okay.
To me, when I read the lyrics, it sounds like the kind of thing she would write. And I only know 2 Lizzo songs, and I like both of them, but I haven't listened to more. So I know Good as Hell, and I know Juice. And I know there's another song by Lizzo with the line, I'm 100% that bitch, but I don't know what the name of that song is. And that seems like the most likely of the 3 to be the right answer.
Who's Lizzo?
Shut up. You know Lizzo.
Sorry, I had to take the shot. No, I'm not familiar with Lizzo. I've heard of her. I think I've heard a song, but outside of Juice, I couldn't name anything.
Okay. Well, we could guess a song title. I mean, that song could be called Bad Bitch or something like that.
I would be okay with Bad Bitch.
All right, sure. We'll make that up. We'll say Bad Bitch by Lizzo. If it's not a song, it should be. You'd buy it.
The
You know you would.
song you're thinking of is called Truth Hurts.
Truth Hurts. Thank you.
That's not where I went, though. Like, most of the lyrics just kind of washed through my head, but my brain stuck on that I want it, I got it, which made me think of that Ariana Grande song based on my favorite things, so we locked in with 7 Rings.
And if it's tattooed incorrectly, it can come across as Little Barbecue. This is 7 Rings by Ariana Grande.
Yeah!
Oh,
Nice job.
wow.
Well done.
Yeah, she got it tattooed on her hand when she was in Japan or somewhere. Maybe she wasn't there, but they messed it up. And instead of saying 7 Rings, it says Little Barbecue or Hibachi.
I just saw that this week, but I didn't even know it was the name of a song.
I'm not of the hot music today, like the stuff I'm trying to listen to and see what I like. Ariana Grande is not one of the ones. She's not mine.
Yeah, the only thing that hooked in my head was the I want it, I got it. I want it, I got it part.
So you got that right.
Yep.
This is tremendous. Going into the gauntlet at the end of the 6th round, Bob and Jonathan came back there with a vengeance and got 20 points that round for a final score of 110. Nicolle and Neil just swept the last round for 30 points. So they have 115 at the very end of the game. From pillar to post, Bob and Jonathan have been in the lead until just now. At this moment, Nicolle and Neil have a lead, 115 to 110 going into the gauntlet. And Cheyenne, what is the gauntlet category going to be?
Okay, so I knew that both of y'all were going to be on here. I thought y'all were going to be on different teams. And so this final it's all about the Oaks.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay. All right. Our wager is locked in.
I'm happy with that too. Yep.
And yes, we are locked in.
All right. Known for more than gospel music, what Tennessee city was a production site for the Manhattan Project?
All right, we're locking in.
Our answer is locked in.
Question 2. Oak Island, which is famous for being the possible location of a curse and also the possible location of famous items such as the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant, is part of what Canadian maritime province?
By the way, we forgot Oaks was part of the thing here.
I just thought the same thing.
Hope we don't regret that.
We're locked in.
We're going to lock in our answer.
Now we go to question 3. All right, this is straightforward. Oakland, California is located in what county?
All right, we're going to lock in our answer.
Our answer's locked in.
Known for more than gospel music, what Tennessee city was a production site for the Manhattan Project?
So, Bob, we didn't have any flipping idea here.
Nope. We named a handful of cities and picked one.
And we didn't know anything about Oaks either, but we named like Gatlinburg, Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville, Memphis, Pigeon Forge. We ended up guessing Knoxville, hoping that that's where the university was and hoping that might be where they started working on the Manhattan Project.
As good as any of the other cities.
So we said Knoxville.
Well, the Manhattan Project bit didn't come to mind immediately, but I knew the round was all about the Oaks. It said more than gospel. I'm pretty sure the Oak Ridge Boys started as a gospel band. So we locked in with Oak Ridge. And then while you were talking about Knoxville, it's like, oh, right, I think the Oak Ridge Laboratory is what Tennessee is named after. So I felt even a little bit better about it. We locked in
really
with
great.
Oak
If that's
Ridge.
right, that's really great. That's a good job using the category.
All right. Second question. Oak Island, which is famous for being the possible location of a curse and also the possible location of famous items such as the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant, is part of what Canadian maritime province?
All right, Neil and Nicolle, why don't you guys share your answer first?
We started listing Canadian maritime provinces, and as they popped up on the screen, I was thinking about Nova Scotia, and then in the question was about the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant, and in my head made a really obscure link to actual Scotland and the Holy Grail and parts of England that are linked to the Ark of the Covenant, so we went with Nova Scotia in New Scotland.
On the other hand, for us, we listed all the maritime provinces as well, and we said, hey, Nova Scotia seems like the most likely answer.
Yep.
Why? I don't know. Let's do it. So Nova Scotia is what we went with. And then question 3, Cheyenne.
Oakland, California is located in what county?
So for me, I'm more confident now than ever because now I know why it is that I had that answer in my head.
Okay.
So I wrote down a word that was like, I wrote down the word Alameda. And I wrote down that word thinking it's not a city, and I know it's somewhere, and it's gotta, I think it might be, and I was thinking about Chekhov looking for the nuclear vessels in Star Trek 4. And then it hit me as you guys were talking, the reason that Oakland and the word Alameda are stuck in my head together is that the Oakland A's play in Oakland Alameda Coliseum.
Oh,
that's why those two words are connected in my head. So we said Alameda.
And that's the blooming airport from Mythbusters.
We didn't even think of Alameda. I've never been in Northern California, so I had a bag of nothing.
Right. So what did you guys answer?
We were naming things and trying to decide what we knew was not in Northern California, and I just kept naming prisons. And so we locked in with Folsom.
There we go. I shot a man in Oakland just to watch him die.
We'll start with the one that y'all both answered the same. And Oak Island, which has been a part of a lot of like true crime podcasty kind of things, and there was a Netflix series on it, is in Nova Scotia.
All right.
So,
good logic, Bob.
Well,
Hey, we got one.
Yeah.
Good logic.
Yeah. And then the first question, the gospel music. Yes, the Oak Ridge Boys started as gospel music.
Nice.
And
Wasn't
that is
getting
where
there.
the Manhattan Project was. And so I was trying to kind of
If
push
we
y'all
had
towards
really
there.
focused on the category, we could have gotten to Oak Ridge Boys, and we would have said, where are the Oak Ridge Boys from? And we would have still said freaking Knoxville.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not.
University of Tennessee is in Knoxville, but the
Okay.
capital is Nashville.
Thank you. I thought it was.
Okay, and then Oakland, California, which county is it in? Yeah, it was kind of like a hidden sports question.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Oakland Alameda Stadium is where the Raiders played and where the A's play. So that is Alameda.
All right, so neither team got all 3 questions right, so it is going to come down to wagers. We were trying to figure out, we knew that if you wanted to lock us out, you could, so we didn't want to bet for that. We know that you knew that, so you would strategize for that. So we ended up wagering 30. So we are going to lose 30, and we will finish with 80 points, which means if you wagered 35 points, it's a tie. If you wagered more than 35 points, it's a loss. If you wagered less than 35 points, it's a win for you. So tell us, what did you wager?
Well, we discuss wagering strategy, and we either make the cover bet, which is 106, or we wager as if y'all were going to bet 0 and wager 4 or fewer. And really, go big or go home. It would have really stung for us both to get it right, for you to double up, and for us just not to have bet enough. So we bet 106.
Wow.
With a final score of 80 to 9, Bob and Jonathan Oakes are your winners.
Hey.
Well done.
Good
That
job.
is unexpected. That is unexpected.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I mean, I asked Bob before the recording, I said, Bob, you're the older brother. Should I defer to you? Do you want me to defer? And he said, no, Jonathan, I want to win.
I don't remember this conversation.
No? Maybe it was in my head. All right. Well, honestly, this was a really, really, really fun game. It's a really well-written game, Cheyenne. Good job. That was a lot of fun. And before we go, we like to give everybody a chance to do shout-outs and promote causes that they care about. Neil, we'll start with you.
Cool. It's been a tricky year or two. One of the things I like to try and teach my students is don't think about yourselves as too big. Be more humble. If someone has a different opinion to yours, they probably have a reason for it. It's probably not that they're silly or stupid or dumber than you. So give everyone the benefit of the doubt and treat them as equals, please, as we move forward.
Outstanding. Thank you, Neil. Nicolle, your turn.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on the show. This was a lot of fun. This was a very well-written game, Cheyenne. As far as anything at the end, first of all, I want to shout out the team that I've been playing trivia with through this entire quarantine. No better social distancing than the Atlantic Ocean. We are a mini-headed hydra of trivia, and I love you all. And also, if you or your friends are into horses and ever planning on getting a horse, think about off-track thoroughbreds. I volunteer for Canter Chicago, but there are great thoroughbred retirement organizations all throughout the country, and they've learned a lot. They know how to interact with people, and there's so much that they can do once they retire. So look into off-track thoroughbreds if you're looking for a horse.
Love it. Those are some great horses. All right, Bob, you're up.
I just want to say, first, thanks for having me on the show. I've really
Thanks for
enjoyed
coming
this.
in person.
Oh, I'm glad. I prefer doing this in person, I got to tell you.
Me too.
So, but I do want to say, I've been talking to more and more people who are against getting vaccinated for COVID. And I just want to say the Delta variant is here in the United States. It is gaining steam. It is, looks like scientists predicting it'll be the dominant strain in the U.S. here within the next 6 weeks. And if you have not gotten vaccinated, I want to implore that you at least look at the facts and look at it. I understand that a lot of people are against it. I understand that there's science and politics and not knowing what future complications may be. But I just want to say, we know that COVID is bad, and we know that the Delta variant is very dangerous and very deadly. And so I just want to implore you, the people who are vaccinated are not going to get this. And if they do, it's not going to be as bad. It's the people who are unvaccinated who are in danger. So please look at the facts, read up on the science, and at least consider getting vaccinated.
Thank you, Bob.
I agree.
And Cheyenne, we are going to wrap it up with you.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. And also, I want to throw a shout out to NVSD because we play trivia against them all the time, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm going to do a plug for Questionable Company.
Heck yeah.
And if anybody is interested in getting a trivia company, we're just starting to get up and running. You can just send us a Facebook message. We're really involved every night. We're there in case our hosts have questions. Like, we're always available if there's, I think that's the best thing that we do other than write good questions is that we are on call every night when our hosts are in venues.
So you're saying if somebody wants to start a game at a local pub, they could reach out to you at Questionable Company and get questions already written for them, and they just have to do the hosting.
Yep, that's it.
Fantastic. And how can they reach you?
Best way is Facebook, like Facebook messages or something, or we have questionableco@gmail.com, but I really think Facebook is the easiest and most efficient.
Outstanding. Thank you.
And this was great. Thank you for having me on.
Dude, man, I loved your question set. This was really good. You did a great job. And that's going to wrap us up. So for Nicolle, for Neil, for Cheyenne, and for Bob, my name is Jonathan. This has been episode number 328 of Trivial Warfare, where it's not just trivia, it's war. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Trivial Warfare. Be sure to check out the revamped TrivialWarfare.com as your one-stop shop to submit questions, join the community, and get access to over 150 archived episodes. Warm It Up was written and performed by Matthew Stevens. This episode was edited and produced by me, Joel Sharpton. For help with your podcast, visit ProPodcastingServices.com.